I'm not going to gatekeep this on you. I'm going to tell you guys exactly how I did it. I'm going to do it right now. Uh, while we're waiting for people to log on, let me just introduce myself if you don't follow me. My name's Scott Lubick. I live in Tampa, Florida. I am an ex-Blackwater agent. If you don't know what that is, it's a merc hired by governments to do, let's just say, the word Blackwater means not legal, not illegal, but kind of right down the middle. So if you're not following my page is about revealing scams, what's going on, and how they're taking your money and your health. But a lot of people ask me at 53, how do I stay looking like this? So I'm going to not gatekeep. I'm going to tell you exactly how I lost 97 pounds, my experience of losing 97 pounds in 63 days. I'm going to tell you the whole story, and it's going to mirror your life, I guarantee you. Apologize about my face. I take combat training twice a week, and I also work out twice a week, so it's kind of rough when you get hit. So I know I'm beautiful, but these blemishes can't do nothing about it. All right? So let me put these glasses back on so I can actually see in case somebody asks me a question. All right, so without further ado, here's how I lost 97 pounds in 68 days. Ready? Years ago, I got shot in both my legs. I have spinal stenosis in my back and in my neck, and a full rotator cuff. This happened in Colombia. This happened when I was I was pulling security as a subcontractor for the government. I was actually guarding fields of drugs for the CIA. Had cut a deal with a certain cartel, so another cartel. So it didn't come in and steal the drugs. They would hire armed guard, which was my job. This is why my children are Colombian. You know, if you follow me, you know all these stories. But anyway, getting back to it. So in 2016, if you've been following me, I looked like I was carved out of a granite, right? Like just my body was just incredible for my age. I'm 53. So right now I'm 53. I'm not only 53, but I'm 240 with an 8-pack of abs. I also have a 54-inch chest, 20-inch arms, and 32-inch thighs. Okay? And here's how I did it. I'm going to save you money, and I'm going to save your life right now. Listen to these words coming out of my mouth. In 2016, 2017, the gunshot wounds that I received and my spinal stenosis had flared up really, really bad. And when it did, I could not walk for 7 months. And a buddy of mine said, and I'm not a vegan, but my buddy of mine who is very passionate about the care of the animals and such, talked me into being a vegan, right? Sorry, my gun is digging into my hip. So, talks me into being this vegan. I immediately went from what I look like now, but a younger version, to 240 with an 8-pack of abs, to 350 pounds, high blood pressure, and just everything wrong. Blood work, a mess, testosterone level in the toilet, heart attack and stroke waiting to happen because I was talked into becoming a vegan. And I did it with the intent of saving the animals, and he just talked me into gave me all these reasons why I should do it. And I thought it was noble at the time, and I thought it would take away all of the pain and all of the inflammation in my body, but it did the exact opposite. It made things worse. And let me explain. So I'm at 350 pounds. My wife leaves me. My children all move out, and I got an empty nest. I have 6 children. I'm 53, right? So now I'm empty nest. Wife leaves. Life's in shambles. Just a total mess, right? My life, there's not enough sad songs in Tennessee to explain to you these 2 years how dark they were of my life. It was life ending. I felt like ending my life. That's how bad it was. The pain. I wound up getting TMJ in my jaw because of spinal stenosis. It threw my jaw off. It was just nothing good. Full body inflammation. 350 pounds. All right. So I had to reel it back in and say, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Whenever something catastrophic happens in your life, you really have to stop and go back to square one and say, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do nothing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ponder a solution, because I'm a solution-based human being. I am a solution-based person, all right? That's who I am. That's what I am. I believe nothing unless I personally experienced it, and I believe in solution-based instead of being right all the time. I just need a solution. So this is from training. I learned this and I applied it to my life, and it works. So super long story short, I go back to basics and I say, okay, what is my body? Where's my lineage? Where are my people from? And the answer is the British Isles. Okay, my people are from the British Isles. I am a Viking. The Irish have red hair. The English have red hair. All of them, Swedish, all the red hair in Eastern European came from the Vikings. And the Vikings swept through Europe. And when they did, they landed in Russia, and they're now called Russians. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because I said to myself, genetically, I pondered this and said, genetically, what am I designed to eat? If my people are Russian, Czechoslovak, Eastern European, what were they eating 5 generations ago? 10 grandmothers ago, what were they eating? And then I thought, in the 70s when I grew up, because I'm 53, there was really no heavy people. There was no heavy people in the 70s. If you were heavy, they literally sent you to a fat farm when you were a child. They sent you to a place and they studied you to try to figure out what had happened to you, right? Hello from Moscow. Yes, thank you. Redhead Jews? Yeah, there's redhead Jewish people, for sure. So long story short, I decided at 350 pounds, I'm going to eat only what my ancestors ate, which would solve multiple problems at the same time. If you use logic and you say, why would I be doing this? And is this good for me? So I don't want you to believe anything that I'm telling you. I want you to use logic. And I want you to say, this man is telling me he lost 97 pounds in 63 days by doing this. Why would I do this? And if I did do this, is this good for me? Okay? I want you to ask yourself that question. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to ponder this. So how I did it was, I simply ate only what my ancestors ate, which was cows, pigs, chickens, ducks, birds of all kinds, pig brains, every part of every animal, everything. No part of the animal was spared, okay, with my people. The Vikings ate all those things. They ate horses. I didn't eat any horses. Couldn't find one to eat, or I would have tried it. They ate all these things, and they ate absolutely, positively no vegetables whatsoever, or fruit. So I said, you know what? I feel like I'm going to no longer be with us, if you know what I mean. I'm going to mimic. That's what the word monkey came from, the word mimic. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to mimic what my ancestors ate, go back to basics, and I'm going to see what happens. Because at this point, I'm 6'2", I'm 350 pounds, my blood pressure's through the roof, my blood work looked like horrible. I was getting dizzy. I was about to have a stroke. I was about to stroke out. So, 30 days I ate nothing but steak and chicken. Nothing. Nothing else. In 30 days, I lost almost 60 pounds. Now you're going to say, that can't be healthy. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't fat that I was losing. It wasn't. It was inflammation, full body inflammation, simply leaving my body. Right? Full body inflammation leaving my body. That's what it was. Okay? So, yes, there was fat. Yes, there was water. Yes, there was visceral fat throughout my organs. I had fatty liver disease. I forgot to tell you that at the same time. Just nothing good. 60 pounds first 30 days. As a matter of fact, my skin was hanging off me. I had like that little thing here. Why men do goatees, because they have that extra skin here. Women put tape right here to get rid of this right here. Okay, it works. It works. I'll tell you how I got rid of that too in this live. I'll tell you all about it. Right? How I got rid of the extra skin. So then on this, my experience of losing this 97 pounds in 63 days, to further that, my family's like, you need to go get a blood test. We think something happened to you, legit, like you got cancer, something is wrong. You got a pituitary problem. No one loses this much weight. Okay. What they didn't know, what I didn't know, was I was also type 2 diabetic, insulin intolerant, all right, which runs in my family. I got that way because of the vegan diet. And here's why. Let me just explain this. If you pull up to a gas station and you drive a diesel vehicle and you put gasoline in that vehicle is not going to run, to break it down to the ridiculously simple. If you're from the British Isles, Eastern European, of any sort, German, Irish, English, whatever, it doesn't matter. Eastern European, Russian, Ukrainian, all of it, all of it. You've been touched by the Vikings. Your primary diet, unless you're on the coast, like if you're Italian, for example, and I'll go there in a second, is land animals. That's what genetically you're designed to eat. So, like at the gas station, you can't put pancakes and vegan food in your body if you're designed for land animals. You can't put gasoline in a diesel vehicle. End of story. Just that simple. Okay? That's what you need to know. You can't put the wrong fuel in your body. Everybody misses this. So, for example, if I'm from the British Isles, I cannot eat a fish and fruit diet because I will blow back up to this ridiculous version of myself. If I'm from Africa, I cannot go to Table 22 in Tampa and gorge myself with their French toast. Place is horrible, by the way. Their French toast is good, but it's not real French toast. It's like ice cream. But place is horrible. And the people that eat there are so big because, not because they overeat, it's because they're eating the wrong food and it's full body inflammation. So if you think you're heavy, and you think you're heavy because you're just eating too much, that's not the case. I eat 10,000 calories a day. Calories is a lie. Has nothing to do with how much you weigh. Caloric intake has nothing to do with how much you weigh. It does not. Doesn't. What has to do with how much you weigh is if you're eating the food that your body was designed to eat. And I'll prove it to you right now. The reason why in the 70s there was no fat people, there was no heavy people, is because your mother's mother taught her how to cook the ethnic food that her mother taught her, and down the generations. Only 10 grandmoms ago, that's 500 years. So if you just go to your mom, if she's still alive right now, and you say, hey mom, what did your mom cook? Do you remember what your grandmom cooked to her? Do you remember? There's 100 years right there. You're on track. And then you do the ancestry.com, or you do one of these 23andMe, and you just know your people are from Ukraine, for example, right? And if you weren't landlocked, it was all meat. It was all cow, pig brains, stuffed cabbage, very little. I try to tell people this. The idea of a vegan and the idea of a vegetarian is less than 100 years old. Okay? People that don't know how to read the Bible think Daniel was a vegan or he was a vegetarian because he wouldn't eat the king's food, the feast. They don't know how to read the book. This is metaphorical. The only time people were vegans, vegan is all fake food if you try to be a vegan today. And to prove that point, just as many vegans and vegetarians are dying of heart attacks as carnivores. All right? But veganism and vegetarianism is less than 100 years old, and it was only implemented when Great Famine swept the land. This is a fact. How do I know that? I went to seminary school for 5 years, and I studied ancient books that they don't teach you in a conventional college. And I know the diets and what people were really eating and what they were trading and how all of these things came about, how we came about from today. But think about this. The ground is so hard in Eastern Europe or New Jersey or Georgia, half the 9 months out of the year, right? You can't even penetrate it with a shovel, so you can't grow any crops. And if you could grow crops, you understand what I'm saying? There wouldn't be enough to feed everybody. You would starve to death. So the only time human beings ate vegetables as a primary meal was when there was no animals to eat. These are, if you search that with logic and truth within you and contemplate this, you'll find truth in it. 75% of the earth is so hard. In Europe, you try to penetrate the shovel in the ground in the British Isles, in England, Scotland, the British Isles, any of those countries, you can't even get a shovel into the ground. You can't. So there's no way to eat. There's no way to eat vegetables. There was no vegetables available. So we flipped it. We went from vegetables being a little side dish to the meat being a little side dish, if any, and vegetables somehow salads became health food. You're not designed to eat salads. No one is. Unless, of course, I'll give you a perfect example. If you're from Jamaica, you're not on the carnivore diet that I'm on. Your people 500 years ago ate fish and whatever fruit is hanging there, coconuts, dragon fruit, whatever grows in Jamaica is what you today are genetically designed to eat. So for example, if you go to Whole Foods, all the food is fake, by the way. If you think that all them vegetables at Whole Foods is real, you have a learning disability. They do not look like that in real life. Those are not real. But let's just say they were, and we agree to disagree. Let's just say they were, and that's your favorite store. If you're from the British Isles, you can't pick up a dragon fruit, put it in your mouth, and eat it because you heard somebody somewhere say it's good for you. You can't pick up a sour sap because you heard it cures cancer. If you're from the British Isles, because it only grows in Hawaii, it might cure cancer for somebody that lives near that fruit 500 years ago and is genetically able to repair using it. Do you understand? So not only did I just save you money on your grocery bill, because if you find yourself eating only what you were designed to eat, your grocery bill is going to be half. Okay? Mine's $132 a week. But I eat 2 pounds of red meat a day. I eat sweet potatoes, which I'm going to cut back on. I drink water. That's my diet. That's all I'm designed to eat. If I eat outside of that diet, so perfect example. If you're Italian, I'm sorry to break it to you, there was no pizza 500 years ago, and there was no pasta 500 years ago. There was no wheat fields like you see today. You see the photos of all the farmers and the wheat. There was none of that. We didn't eat that. Okay? No vegetables. Listen to me, Lady Diane. If you're from the British Isles, no vegetables. If you're from Jamaica, whatever vegetables grew on those in that area is what you're designed to eat. So if dragon fruit grew there, you're designed to eat it. If 500 years ago your people were eating it, genetically you're going to be designed to eat it. It will not hurt you. But if I make it my business to eat dragon fruit, being from the British Isles, I will immediately blow up with inflammation. It'll look like body fat. Listen, low-lying inflammation causes heart attacks in men and women. This is why people are having heart attacks at 55. All right, you think it's this, that, or the third doing it. They're poisoning us, whatever. You're up to date on your shots. No, it's the food. The food, and I'll explain that later. So, here it is. Once you find out where your lineage is from, the next step is simple. All right, this is a place of action. Nothing happens unless you take action. You then, and I'm telling you this as serious as when I tell one of my grandchildren. I've 6 kids and a bunch of grandkids running around. I bring my grandchild to the side of the road and I say, now listen here. You, under no circumstances, are allowed to cross this street without looking both ways. This cannot happen. All right, this is how I speak to my grandchildren. This cannot happen, or you know what's going to happen. You're never going to see me again. You're never going to see, the same story. Your parents told you, you tell your kids and grandkids. Do you not want to see me again? No, I don't want to see you again. I want to see you. I'll look both ways, I promise. Okay, I'm telling you with this much authority, under no circumstances, if you're African American, can you eat chicken and waffles. I don't care if you're as skinny as a rail. Your body is not designed for that. It'll cause low-lying inflammation. You will have a heart attack, and that is why that is the number 2 killer of African Americans. Heart attack, because even if you're fit, you're not designed to eat that food, and it's causing damage that's irreversible, that's internal, and you cannot recover from it unless you do what I'm going to talk about next. All right? So step number 1, find out where your lineage is from, what your people were eating. A good place to start is ask your mother if she's still with us. Ask your grandmother if she's still with us. Do some research. Whatever those people were eating, that's what you eat. You will lose immediately 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds like I did without spending an extra dime. Got it? You're welcome. I just cured obesity. I just cured type 2 diabetes. If you're probably diabetic and don't even know it. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you you are. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about Um, let's talk about the shots that make you lose weight. Let me explain how that works. And we'll go into the second part of this live. All right? They're, it's like Ozepka, for example. It's 500 hours a month. It's not cheap. So you're literally buying a drug that cuts your in. Alls it does. This is the only thing Ozepka and all of those weight loss shots do. And the moment you stop taking them and pull and you can't afford the 500, the moment that stops, you go right back up to being you. All right, here. All that drug does is cut your insulin level down to where it's supposed to be. Actually, less than where it's supposed to be. Which is why you see these movie stars now, they're starting to look horrible. They look old and horrible and wrinkled, and they're making fun of them on social media. It's horrible, right? Is because they lost weight so fast, like I did, that their skin is hanging off. They just look old. They lost all the fat in their face and all the cartilage, and it's because of these drugs. Now, let me explain how you do the same exact thing without spending $500 a month on these drugs is by going on that ancestral diet. That's what it's called. It's called write this down, the ancestral diet. Whatever your ancestors were eating, that's what you eat. Okay? This will lower your insulin level. So insulin has just two jobs, right? Here it is. First job. All right, and let me tell you how evil the FDA is. It's illegal in France and Germany and all of Europe. It's only legal in the United States and also Australia. By the way, United States, 47% of American public has cancer because of what I'm about to tell you. And in Australia, who's number one, it's 48%. You can look that up. No matter how you learn, doesn't matter. And they'll all say the same thing. Here it is. Here it is. They approved in the United States modified enriched wheat gluten. You can't buy soy sauce. You can't buy bread. You can't buy anything that is not shot full of that. And here's why. They've designed modified enriched wheat gluten in the 1990s. This is when it came out. Modified enriched wheat gluten. Like in pasta, if you try to eat pasta. It doesn't matter. If you eat one piece of toast with jelly on it, you sprinkle jelly on it, right? On Monday morning, you eat that piece of toast. You know, you were taught calories is where it's at. That's how you can lose weight. Less volume, smaller portions, right? That's what we were taught. Your insulin level, because of the modified enriched wheat gluten, is now spiked for 2 weeks. What does that mean? Insulin's job is to tell your body it's no longer allowed to eat the fat that's stored on it. It's only allowed to eat the energy or use the energy that is stored in your bloodstream, which means your coffee and your sugar. You know, you go to Starbucks, you go to McDonald's, wherever you buy your coffee and you load it with sugar, your body all day, I don't care if you go to the gym, if you're a mailman and you walk all day, I don't care. If your insulin level is spiked, your body is shut down, and this is why you see 25, 30-year-old beautiful women that are so big, they're on the carts in Walmart. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but we have to be real here, okay? Beautiful women. Beautiful, beautiful women. And I love my women, so I tell them, I don't want you to be sick. This is the reason. Their insulin level is spiked. I know women who literally eat once a day, once every other day, and they are 80 pounds overweight. Why? Because when they do eat, they're eating something that's causing their body to shut down. It's called insulin intolerance. Got it? Thank you. Thank you for that. It's called insulin intolerance, right? That's what it's called. So what happens next after you're insulin intolerant? You could fast for 3 days, it doesn't matter. You could run a marathon, it doesn't matter. You could go to Crunch Fitness with me and I could work you out. You could go take Aikido karate with me, combat training with me. It doesn't matter. The moment you put food in your mouth, your body's shut down. Here's what happens. Once it's done with what's in your blood, it eats muscle. Your body will then start eating muscle. It's not allowed to eat fat. So all of you women who go on diets and just look like a smaller version of yourself, and all of you men, you go on a diet, you lose 15, let's talk real. My ex-wife, she goes on a diet, she loses 15 pounds, she looks great, right? She's small. But you lose 15 pounds, you just look like the same person, but 15 pounds lighter. No muscle tone, no nothing. It's because your body's shut down, and instead of losing the fat, your body, the insulin in your body is saying, okay, you're out of the sugar that you had in your coffee, you're out of the fake energy, the coffee bean, eat the muscle. And this is why women's rear ends flatten out. This is why we sag. This is why men get beer guts. They eat once a day when they come home after working hard all day. They want to be rewarded. They go grab a beer, and a hoagie. From New Jersey, so I say hoagie, but you grab a sandwich, right? It's because the insulin level spikes. So that drug that they're selling you for $500 per month, that drug is good for a time to get a handle on your insulin level. But let's face it, no one wants to take drugs forever, and you want to fix the problem. You don't want to just take the drug so you can eat whatever you like. You don't. And I know people that do it. They just take the drug so they can eat whatever they like, because it literally cuts the insulin level off. Okay, you got it? That's how it works. But it's 5, 6, 7, 800 hours a month, depending on which kind you get. Sorry, my gun is digging into my hip. All right, so going back to it, you can cut that insulin level by simply going on the carnivore diet. If you're designed for the carnivore diet, your body, if you just joined me, if you do the ancestral diet. So I'm from the British Isles. I'm only designed to eat meat. If I only eat meat, my insulin levels cut to where it needs to be. All right. My body will not eat the muscle. Obviously at 53, my body's not eating my muscle. My body is eating the body fat, which is why I have a 29-inch waist. How? Why? It's eating the body fat because my insulin level is where it's supposed to be. I have 20-inch arms because insulin's second job is to deliver proteins to the muscle. And this is why when you take those drugs, like the movie stars, they're just you look at them, you look at these movie stars now, I'm telling you, you could tell who's taking it. You ever see, I don't want to talk bad about the guy. I love Ryan Seacrest. I think he's a nice guy. I don't know him. I enjoy, watching him host, whatever. Michael Buffer, I know him, personally. He used to work for my father, actually. It just, you look at these people and you can tell that they've been taking these weight loss drugs. So not only has all their fat dissipated in their face and their cartilage, but now when they eat something, there's no insulin in their bodies. So if you eat a steak, your body can't deliver the steak protein to the muscle. You got it? You understand? So that drug is good for a time to get a handle on things, but to fix the root problem of obesity, sickness, depression, Uh, Listen, I got a sister. She takes 4 Zoloft a day, plus a bunch of other things, and she thinks she's sane. When I talk to her and something comes out of her mouth, I'm like, okay, having a conversation with someone who has to just take 4 Zoloft, and I don't hate her. I'm not talking bad about her. I'm just saying, I'm laying it down for you. You go to your doctor's office, you're depressed. They give you Xanax, Zoloft, Lexapro. That's what she takes, Lexapro, 4 a day. Any of these mind-bending drugs. All of that could have been fixed by putting the right fuel in your car. It could have been fixed by you just going on the ancestral diet. The cloudy mind, the mood swings, the heat flashes. You didn't need a hysterectomy. Okay? You didn't need a shoulder replacement. I'm going to go over that next, why you didn't need that. It could have, all the pain could have stopped by somebody just telling you the truth. You're putting the wrong fuel in your body. And I hate to oversimplify things because people are going to be like, BS, this is BS. But you have to use logic and say, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to just contemplate this. The guy's telling me I'm only designed to eat the food my people have been eating for the last 500 years. That kind of makes sense to me. I kind of believe that. I believe that's probably true. In my mind, I know that I'm definitely not designed to eat. I'm not Italian. So Italy is surrounded by water. So their diet is fish and vegetables, whatever vegetables grow in Italy, right? That's what their diet is. Not pizza, all right? Chinese, Asian folks, their diet is 25% meat and then whatever vegetable grows over there. They're not gorging themselves with rice. Only Americans do that. The rice dish in the Chinese, I'm from Atlantic City where everybody from throughout the whole entire world came there to live and work. I ate at real mom and pop Chinese restaurants and dated Chinese girls, Vietnamese girls, all types of girls, and ate all of this real ethnic food. So I'm telling you right now, real Chinese people don't eat rice. They eat 25% meat, 75% vegetables. That's what they're designed to eat. Got it? All right, so to reel it all the way back in, you don't need to spend any money. You're going to spend less money in the grocery store. Full body inflammation is going to go away. The aches and pains, if the doctor that you go to, your regular doctor, if you go to a doctor and the doctor doesn't ask you what you're eating in the first 15 minutes of the visit, run the other way, because they're setting you up for a treatment. Okay? And we all love to go to our primary care doctor because it takes our insurance, but we need to remember that insurance only pays for treatments and not cures. So the cure for 75% of what ails human beings. Now remember, 100 years ago, there was no Zoloft, there was no Xanax, there was no Lexapro, there was no hormones in the meats, there was no GMO, genetically modified or engineered food. There most certainly wasn't bioengineered food, which is in my opinion, the next catalyst, which is going to make 75% of the people who eat it, in the world, no longer be with us. If their shots are up to date and you take that food, that's the catalyst that ends you. It is. It's not the human signature. My ex-wife works for a cancer hospital. 47% of us have cancer. Why? It's the food. It's the food. It's the food. Okay? So to not eat bioengineered food and to not eat GMO is very simple. It's very simple. When you're at the grocery store, you look at the shelves And as a human being, you say to yourself, somebody checked it out. This has got to be safe to eat. There's somebody who checked this out. This has to be safe to eat. Well, if you follow me, you know that's not true, because there's video after video after video after video after video of me showing you it's not safe. If you follow me, I have 39 million views a month on Instagram with video after video after video after video showing you the after effects of all of this, right? And a whole lot more. And a whole lot more scams that they pull on us, right? So to break this down to the ridiculously simple, and just to end this part of the video, you could stay away from the bioengineered food. You could stay away from all of the poisons that people, you see all these content creators, and now all of this fake RFK is stopping this, and he's at Tampa General now, and Tampa General is going to do a better job on the food that they serve people. There's a McDonald's in Tampa General. Let's just use logic here. RFK, I don't know the man. This is not political. I don't do politics. I haven't voted in 16 years or paid taxes. If you want to do that legally, those videos are on my page too. Join me on Instagram, or please join me on YouTube, where the longer content is, right? So explain to me, like I'm 4 years old, how RFK is in Tampa General Hospital, and Tampa has made it. They're promising to clean. That's my PTSD dog, guys. Just give me a second. Buddha, it's okay. It's okay. He's got PTSD, not me. So we both do a little bit. But explain to me, like I'm 4 years old, please, how RFK is in Tampa General Hospital, and they made a pledge. It's all over the news to clean up the food that they are going to give the patients. And there's a McDonald's in the lobby. Please explain that. Anyone? Cricket. Okay? They're not your friends. They've made it 100% clear that you are responsible for your health and your well-being. Okay? They've made it crystal clear that gone are the days of the assumption of safety and security in the United States. We're seeing that now. All right? You have to take personal responsibility, and it starts with logic. The whole Bible, you can't miss it. The Torah is written about it. And it starts with 2 questions. Why would I believe this? And if I did believe this, is this good for me? And then, if it is good for you and you want to apply it to your life, you take action, but not until then. You don't repeat it, you don't teach it, nothing secondhand. Yeah, there's a McDonald's in every children's hospital. Philadelphia Children's Hospital. I was there when I was a child. I remember vividly. When I was a child, I'm 53. When I was a child in the 70s, McDonald's food is the quality of food you buy now at Whole Foods. It was real. Now, there's nothing real about it. Zero, zilch. Which you'll see, those videos are all on my page. Join me on YouTube and watch them, and you'll be like, disgusting. All right? Right now, Facebook, just so you guys know, my account is very limited on Facebook, and I'm going to tell you why. So I have a security background. I have friends in private security, and I'm not talking about at the mall, okay? I'm talking about government contractors. That's who and what I am. You could Google my name. That's my real name, and you see it right there in my LinkedIn. I am still for hire, but a government contractor. Got it? All right, so this is how it works. All right. So these videos are on my page. Just please go look at them. So let's get back on topic. You're going to do the ancestral diet because you're going to say, okay, I see this big 53-year-old He's not good looking, but he's handsome. He's handsome, especially since half my face was blown off and blind, and he's still handsome. I like the way he carries himself. He's funny. He looks like a catch for somebody who's 40, 50 years old. Okay? So I'm not going to believe him, but I'm going to take in what he says, because I think I'm designed to eat what my mother ate, and what her mother ate, and what her mother ate before her, and her, and her, and her before us, back 10 grandmoms ago. That makes sense to me. I'm going to apply this to my life. Yeah, I was in Colombia. I got shot in both legs. I got shot through my side, and then a trash can had literally a pipe bomb. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a pipe you buy at Home Depot, and I can't explain how to make it here on social media, but you just throw it in the trash can, and whoever walks by reaps the benefits of your creation. Well, that happened to me. So, shot both legs, walked 4 miles through a jungle road, crawled probably a mile and a half of that, and my whole face was gone on the side. I went to a triage because there's no hospitals there. They did a really good job, got home, did some plastic surgery, and here I am. Look how handsome. You can see it. You can't see it now, but if you see me in person, there's a cut in my eyebrow, and then you can follow it down. So there's that. Anyway, back on topic. So, like I said, gone are the days of assumption of safety and security. My friends are telling me that are still active, like I am, that you're responsible for yourself and your own well-being. So you have to look at everything with logic now. You cannot rely on someone going into the grocery store and saying, you just can't walk in there and assume because they're selling it's safe for you to eat. That's all. That's it. You cannot. That is a JV error mistake that will cost you and your children. You will no longer be with us if you keep eating that way. Eat what your ancestors were designed to eat. Designed you to eat. Whatever they ate is what you need to eat. Okay? So if you're a Russian and you grew up in Jamaica and your people were there for 500 years, you're designed to eat what Jamaicans eat. So you gotta do yourself a solid. Take an hour. Just don't do a Google search. Act like you love yourself, because you're perfect just the way you are. You're worth it. I promise you, all the medications that you're taking, the sickness you're dealing with, the chronic pain you're dealing with, the cloudy mind, the mood swings, the hot flashes, not being able to sleep, the energy problems, all of it will go away if you put the right fuel in your body. That's it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I love you. I got you before I got my bail. That's why people follow me. That's why there's 39 million views a month. I forgot to tell you. Yes, I lost my train of thought. Facebook. Limited on Facebook. So Instagram folks, you're not going to see as many posts. I'm limited on Facebook because I did a video on the prison system and how many people are going missing every year in the prison system. So 4,000 people per year die in the prison system. 150,000 people die per day in the world. Okay? In the prison system, 20, 30-year-old kids that just got life sentences are disappearing. And I said in the video, isn't it interesting that you can only harvest organs from a live person, and these people are going missing? Then I said, isn't it interesting, Mayo Clinic does hundreds of thousands of transplants per year, so the math ain't mathin'. How are they doing hundreds of thousands of transplants per year when only 150,000 people die worldwide daily? The math ain't mathin'. So I suggested the people who are going missing, the people that are in prison, the prison system in the United States, the lifers, the kids with no families and no one loves them, they got caught up in the system. Dude, these judges are sentencing them to life in prison, and I'm telling you now, what's going to happen is they're just going to disappear. And you can only get organs from a live donor. And isn't it interesting that 4,000 people die that they tell you about in prison? The loved ones cannot retrieve the body. They're not allowed to do a third-party autopsy on the body because the body belongs to either the state or federal. I don't know if you know this or not. You only have 48 hours to find out why the person died. Usually, the families get the cremated remains of their loved one. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So I did the video and Facebook suspended my account. Thank you, Facebook. I appreciate it. I've been with you 15 years. So I got to wait till December 12th to start telling you guys more truth. So you're going to see my content change just a bit. I am going to show you, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I've been in weapons training for 25 years, and I'm going to do satire on it's going to be funny, but it's also going to teach you how to defend yourself. For example, you'll see a video of me and my ex-wife behind me with a pots and pans, like someone broke into our house. I'll have my gun, and then I will allow the person who broke into the house to take the gun away. Then we'll crack a joke, and then I will show you the correct way to defend yourself and your family, so no one can take your gun. I take Aikido karate. I do not teach it. To be honest with you, I'm not very good, which means I'm not very kind, which means I could kill you very, very easily with it. All right? So I'm going to teach that to you, though, as content until December, when I can go back to uncovering scams. So you'll see. Trust me, it'll be awesome. It's going to be skits, and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to try to pull it off. I'm going to try to pull it off. So, but the content, if you want to see, I'm going to continue uncovering the scams on YouTube. So if you want to follow me over to YouTube, Instagram, it's same name, and also TikTok. It's same name at Scott Lubick. Yeah, same name. So just go to YouTube at Scott Lubick. That's all you gotta do, right? So go to YouTube if you want to see my content on the scams, like that prison scam that got me roped off for a minute on Facebook. By all means, follow me over there, and you'll be amazed at what you learn. So that's my real name. You can Google search that name. I'm the real deal. All right, so let's go into the second part of this, how I lost 97 pounds. After I lost 97 pounds, I had loose skin. I looked like I was 60 years old. I legitimately looked like, here's me without the glasses on. I'm 53. I think I look my age. I'm beat up from weapons training, okay? But usually when I'm shaved up, I clean up nice. I look a little, maybe 50, right? So, I lost all of the weight, and when I did, I had this loose skin. It was on my stomach. Now I got an 8-pack of abs right now. It was on my stomach. Hey, how you doing? It was all over my stomach. It was on my legs. It was on my arms. It was on the back of my arms. I looked like I had just lost 97 pounds in 63 days. So horrible. So I go to the doctor, and I don't go to doctors, but I went to this doctor, dermatologist, and I said, hey, how am I going to tighten this skin up? Because it doesn't matter if you're 20 or 50, you either have the body type where your skin snaps back or you don't. And you have the muffin top, you can't see your abs. You got, especially with the ladies, their arms, you got the ugly weight you can't lose on your arms. So I go to the dermatologist. Dermatologist says, hey, you're going to have to go get lipo, and then you're going to have to wear the suit, and that'll tighten everything up for you. And I'm funny with people because being shot, and I had surgery when I was a child at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, which is how I remember there's a McDonald's there. I'm funny about doctors, and I'll go into that. But long story short is I don't like them because they have a $50,000 a month nut, and they're not going to tell you the truth. If it's something simple, they're going to turn it into something big because they can't afford. So, for example, if your hormones are off and you can't think, you have a cloudy mind, you are depressed, you have no energy, yada, yada, yada. Instead of asking, hey, what are you eating? They're going to say, hey, you need Lexapro. Or if you're in pain in your shoulder, instead of giving you peptides, they're going to turn around and they're going to say you need a full shoulder replacement. And I'm talking to you from personal experience. Okay? This is what had happened to me, and I don't have to go into it. You all know a doctor has a $20,000 a month mortgage. A doctor has a G-Wagon. The husband or wife has a G-Wagon. The boyfriend or girlfriend has a G-Wagon that the doctor's paying for too. Don't kid yourself. They got $30,000 in miscellaneous yacht club and credit card bills. They got kids. They got ex-kids. They got kids in college. They got drug problems. They got the same life as you. So you can't go into a doctor's office expecting them to tell you the truth. Hey, go get a blood test, and if your hormones are off, it'll solve all these problems. No. They got to put you on treatment after treatment after treatment and give you surgery. For example, if you're a woman, 35-year-old woman, right? This is running rampant. This is running rampant. And these videos are on my page if you follow me. Woman goes into the gynecologist, goes into the doctor, the woman doctor, and woman doctor says, yeah, you need a hysterectomy. You need a hysterectomy because this, that, and the third. Whatever lie they tell you, right? Which didn't exist throughout all of humanity except for the past 100 years when they sick for profit came out, right? When people started making big money on these surgeries. This is when everybody started to need a hysterectomy. Everybody started to need all these unnecessary surgeries. What that unsuspecting woman, beautiful woman, the best thing in creation, the thing that keeps us afloat, the thing I hold most high. What she doesn't know is that doctor has a $50,000 a month nut and can't tell her. All she have to do is go get your hormones checked. That doctor must give her surgery, make 30 grand to pay his bills. Now, I'm not saying every doctor. I'm just saying a lot of them. And I think we've all, if you're old enough, you've run into it. Yeah, most breast cancer, for example, doesn't exist. I'm just saying. Number one cause in the United States of death is death from unnecessary surgery. This is truth. This is not me saying it. This came out. These are studies. All right? So let's reel it back in. So we know now not to trust doctors. So I have extra skin everywhere, right? Everywhere. I looked 65 years old. I said, oh man, what am I going to do? I called my buddies up. I was trained by a bunch of Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. They're still the guys that are still around. I still talk to. I call them up. Hey man, we were talking about other things actually, and this came up. They're like, hey, we saw your pictures. You lost a lot of weight. You okay? That kind of thing. I was like, yeah, man, but now I got all this loose skin. I don't know what to do. So I don't know if you know this or not, but when they train a Navy SEAL or Army Ranger, or if you're in the CIA and the powers that be dump a lot of money into you, they give you body protection compounds. Our soldiers can walk into a place that's riddled with Ebola virus, not get it. Our soldiers can walk into a place that has cholera. Our soldiers can walk into a place that has tuberculosis. Our soldiers can walk into a place that has real things that have a 97% kill rate and not be affected. How? They're not going to dump $1 million into a Navy SEAL without protecting him in this way. They're not. They did it through peptides. What is a peptide? A peptide is a branched chain amino acid. What is that? That is something that your body made when you were in adolescence all the way up to adulthood. It's the super fuel that allows your body to grow. It gives you the ability to go from adolescence to adulthood. It turns a man into a man, a woman into a woman. These are branched chain amino acids that your body creates regularly. The problem is, once you hit adulthood, it stops. Got it? So when a Navy SEAL gets shot at 30 years old, he recovers twice as fast as you do. How? He recovers. They regrow the muscle without surgery. How's that happen? How could this happen? Right? How could this happen? How could Michael Douglas survive the cancer he had, which had a 97% kill rate? How'd that happen? Here's how. It's very simple. They give them body protection compounds, which are the same amino acids that your body used from the time you were in adolescence, right? These peptides are reintroduced into a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old person, and when they do miracles. They turn your whole system back around. They turn you into like you're 20 again. So I took one peptide called Testmorlin because there's thousands of peptides. I'm not a doctor, so I can't go over which one you need. I'll point you in the right direction. Okay? As a matter of fact, I do this on every one of my lives. Here's my number. You need help with peptides, you text me. Right? I'll tell you what I know and my personal experience about peptides, what to stay away from, because I've been around them for a long time, and hormone therapy, and I will do my best to answer your questions. 6801. YouTube. My phone number is in the description. 813-330-6801. 813-330-6801. All right? Got it? All right. Text me, and I'll point you in the right direction. All right, so here's the deal. So he says to me, take this peptide, and you won't need any surgery. It'll tighten up all that loose skin that you had on you when you were from losing 97 pounds in 68 days. Well, I don't believe a word anybody says, so I have to test it. Like I said, this is how I think. When someone says something to me, I ask myself, why would I believe this? And if I did believe this, would this be good for me? Right? Did some research. I thought to myself, well, I know for a fact that these Navy SEALs and these Army Rangers and these CIA guys and these DOD guys take this stuff So I'm not going to be a guinea pig here. It's been around since the 90s and before that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try it. I took body protection compound 157, TB 500, and Testmorelin for a year straight. For a year straight. Now, here's the part that I didn't tell you. When I was sick and my wife left me and my kids left me and I was 350 pounds and my life was over, right? My life was over. I also got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I didn't know it because of my TMJ in my jaw and my torn rotator cuff and my spinal stenosis that I had. I legit went to a neurologist, and the neurologist said, "How long have you had MS? It's dormant, but how long have you had it?" I said, "I don't have MS. I don't have, what are you talking about?" And it was devastating. I'm telling you, this was the darkest part of my life. I literally felt like pulling my weapon out, and it was horrible. So I said, you know what, man? I believe nothing anybody says. This guy just wants money, right? I didn't let nothing bother me. I kicked my shoes off. I walked barefooted for 4 days a week and took these peptides. You asked me why I walked barefoot. It wasn't for grounding purposes. Shoes have one purpose. Shoes and sneakers allow you to have bad posture and stay comfortable when you walk. When you take your shoes off, it does not allow you to stay comfortable. You have to straighten your posture out. When you straighten your posture out, it unpinches all the nerves running through the tubes throughout your whole body. It unpinches them and your posture straightens out. Okay? So for a year, I took these peptides, walked barefooted, and I'm telling you now, I went back to a neurologist. Okay? First off, my skin went like this. Woof. All right, if you see me with no shirt on, you're going to, and if you guys follow me, you saw me out in the rain, people were like, how at 53? How does this guy look like this? Right? If I went to the neurologist says to me, and it was a different neurologist because what I do is I don't tell them I have insurance because I want doctors to tell me the truth. So if you tell them you have insurance, they send you for another test, and all of a sudden you need surgery. Just go in there and tell them I'm paying cash. If they'll even see you, if a doctor won't see you unless you pay up front, go get a different doctor. They took an oath. That oath doesn't mean anything anymore. They could care less. Just like, the Constitution, no one follows that. Blah. It's all history, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Doctors don't care about the oath they took. It's all about them and protecting their license, not going against status quo. They can't tell you the truth. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. In your heart. You already know this, right? I'm just not. You just know this, man. I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, the oath. What a joke, right? What a joke. So I go back to another neurologist. He charges me $350 because he couldn't wait to get me out of his office. And he says to me, "Hey, your CAT scan is clear." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Your CAT scan is clear." Right, everything's driven by money. Brick house, everything. It's all money, right? And that's the problem. I'm not anti-government and I'm not anti-doctor. I am everything is driven by money. Everything, right? I'm anti-system, matrix. All right, so I go back to this neurologist. Neurologist says, "Hey, yeah, you have no signs." I didn't tell him I had MS. He said, you are 100% clear. Your brain is clear. You have no problems whatsoever in that we can see. Go talk to if you're having headaches still because of the TMJ. He didn't know about TMJ. He told me I had a tension headache and I needed to go talk to his buddy, who's a doctor. He's a psychiatrist who wanted to put me on some mind-bending shit. Right? I'm like, okay. I was like, by the way, is my MS still dormant? And he said, what MS? Well, it wasn't on the CAT scan. So I'm not telling you the peptides healed it or cured it. I'm simply saying I am MS free. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I'm also telling you that my skin is razor sharp and tight. You can't tell on these things, but I have tight skin all throughout my body, and all of my aches and pains are gone because of the TB500 is for full body inflammation. Body protection compound 157 is for if you have a shoulder problem, you would inject it right into your shoulder with an insulin needle. You don't even feel it. It's water based. It's like shooting insulin if you whatever. You don't even feel it. And that's how I got rid of the skin, the extra skin. So I lost the 97 pounds in 63 days and got rid of the extra skin by going on peptides. That's what happened. And I got rid of all the aches and all of the pains, and my life is amazing, and my life has completely changed because of just the ancestral diet. Number one thing, you could buy all the drugs you like. If you're putting the wrong fuel in the car, you're done. Yeah, TB500 and TB500 and body protection compound 157 and Tesmorlin. Right? You don't know how to spell it? Here, I'll show it to you. And like I said, guys, follow me over to YouTube because some of these, you just never know. It's so disheartening. All of these platforms are now controlled by the GOV. They really are, man. All right, so this is how you spell Tesmorlin. It's right under my finger. Screenshot that. Tesmorlin. It's right under my finger. Screenshot it. Tesmorlin. There you go, YouTube. It's right under my finger. Tesmorlin. Okay, let me let you in on a little secret. Charlize Thornton, is that her name? I can never say her last name. Charlize Thornton. Ryan Reynolds. The guy who plays Thor, Chris Wormsworth. Hugh Jackman. The Rock. Batista. All these movie stars that look incredible all take peptides. That's why they're not aging. That's the truth. Yeah, I can't pronounce this chick's last name. Thornton, Thoron, whatever. I have no idea how to say her name. Actually, it gets on my nerves because I love her to death. And she doesn't age. She's been making movies for... I watched her in Devil's Advocate in 1991. I was 18. She looks the same then as she does now. How? She's got the money for the drugs, guys. But these drugs here have gotten cheaper. Yeah, she's gorgeous. All of them. Hugh Jackman, who doesn't want to look like that dude? You know what I mean? Chris Wormsworth, who doesn't want to look like Chris Wormsworth? The guy who plays Thor. Who doesn't want to look like the Rock? Everybody. All right, but they take these peptides. Yeah, so I'm not a doctor, so I don't deal with doctors. So here, let me give you the process now, because now we're into processing. So so you can process all of this. First, step number one is to go on the ancestral diet, and you're going to lose all the full body inflammation. You're going to lose so much weight that you're going to have extra skin. You are. And to be completely honest, I am very vain. Okay? I when I was a younger man, I was a good looking man. I've always been built good. I've always taken pride in the way I've been built. The way I carry myself. I try to stay fit. Okay. And it was because when I was a young man, and this is just the truth. I'm going to open up to you. I'm not a victim. But when I was a young man, I was abused sexually. And in order to deal with that, I really became self-aware of what's important. I buried a lot of that anger in working for Blackwater, but I've dealt with these things in my own way, which is staying fit. The gym really helped me out, and combat training really helped me out through the years to deal with it. Okay, I didn't listen. Strong-minded people do not do drugs unless they want to take the edge off on Friday night. Who gives a shit, right? Who cares? Drink in whatever your flavor, right? Make some bad decisions, I'm down. But people that take drugs because a doctor convinced them that they're depressed because of what happened, long term I'm talking about. I'm not talking about short term until they're better equipped to deal with something. I'm talking about somebody who's been taking Xanax for 40 years. I'm talking about somebody who takes 4 Lexapro a day and thinks they're sane. I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'm going to move in. I'm going to tell you how to get these peptides, and we're going to talk about hormone therapy too, and the cure for your hormones to be completely level. I'm going to teach you the cure. I'm going to give it to you. I was out on a date with a girl that I grew up with, and she means the world to me. I'll always love her. But she said something to me, and I never treated her right. I'll be honest. She was just that person. I never treated her right. I didn't mistreat her. It just, she was in love with me. And when we were young, I said, listen, we go out, we have fun, we come home, and that's all it's ever going to be. And I told her up front, but the girls always loved me. And if I could do it all over again, I would have married this girl and she would have had my children, because she's one of the finest human beings I had ever met. Right? So I hooked back up with her after all these years, after my divorce, and I got fit again. And I wanted to get back out there. I wanted to put myself back out there. You know what I mean? I really did. I wanted to really, get my confidence back and such. I'm at dinner with her, and she says to me this ridiculous, I'm not going to tell you what she said, but she said this ridiculous thing to me, and I sat back and I thought to myself, holy smokes, who am I talking to right now? Am I talking to Xanax? Am I talking to Zoloft? Am I talking to Lexapro? What the? Who am I talking to right now? I want you to think about that. If you guys are dating, if you guys are, in the mix, or you're with someone, right? And I want you to sit back and think about, because I dated other women after her, and then now I can't stop doing it. I'm thinking to myself, because when you meet someone, they're not going to tell you if they're taking Zoloft. They're not going to tell you they're taking 4 Lexapro a day so they can get out of bed. They're not going to tell you they got a drug problem. They're not going to tell you any of this, right? They're not going to tell you any of these things. They're just not. So you got to sit back and say, who the F am I talking to right now? Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? You really got to pay attention and be careful, because these doctors have really rope-a-doped people into believing that they're nuts, when in fact it's a hormone imbalance because of what they're eating. Okay? So let's cover this next. So peptides and hormones. I don't know if you know this or not, but hormones, I did a funny video about it with another content creator on Nebraska Avenue the other day. Everything here, your thought your brain, is the pilot, right? And whatever thoughts you have mixes the chemicals in your body to get you ready for that experience. So, a horrible idea is to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Because when you hope for the best and you prepare for the worst every day of your life without taking control of your life, your body mixes the chemicals for you to have the worst day of your life. And when it does, nothing changes. You're the chemist. Your body mixes the chemicals to deliver the reality that you want to experience, which is the whole teaching of why positive thought changes your life. Why? Because positive thought, positive reinforcement, positive thought, and a silent mind, which you cannot have unless you're eating the right foods. You can't have any of this. A silent mind, a positive thought process changes everything in your life. Everything. Because your body mixes the chemicals to get you ready for bliss. Which is, for example, why you watch the same movies over and over again, because you know the feeling you're going to get. Which is why, in fact, when my bartender pours me a double shot of Stolly, I know exactly the feeling I'm going to get when that touches my lips. I don't need it. I just like the feeling. So your body is the same way. You watch the same movies over and over again because it makes you feel a certain way. You listen to the same Beyonce songs and you listen to the same, Morgan Wallace songs because it makes you feel a certain way. It's true. I do. I know how I'm going to feel the moment that song comes on, which is why you can't tell a drug addict drugs are bad. Because the only thing they can control in their life is that feeling they're going to get. It's the only thing they can control is their next high. They can't control anything else in their life. Nothing. Not their money, nothing. But they can control how they're going to feel. How? By taking another hit. All right? But this ain't about that. So, reel it back in. Everything is chemical, controlled by hormones. Everything is chemical, controlled by hormones. So if your doctor was your friend, and they're not, I'm just letting you know. They may be nice to you, but they also smile at the next patient, okay? You may trust them, but they know you trust them, and they know you're gonna do whatever they tell you. Got it? This is why it's smart to get 10 opinions. All right. So here's the steps. Ancestral diet, once your mind clears up and you're thinking clearly. Once you lose the weight. Once you have no longer anxiety, tension, stress. Once you've touched, taste, feel, heard, and saw that your life has changed. Right? Thank you. Thank you for that. Once you do that, then what you're going to do is you're going to do one remote blood test per year. Now, again, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to ask yourself, contemplate this. Contemplate it. Just say to yourself, all right, this guy just told me if I eat what my ancestors ate, I'm going to lose weight. I believe that genetically. That makes sense. That's why there was no heavy set people in the 70s. There was, but there was very few because we ate for generations the same food. My body can process it. There wasn't, there was very low cancer. I mean, you had to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day to get cancer in the 70s, prior to the 70s. There was very low occurrence of cancer. You got liver disease because people drank themselves to death. Baby boomers, parents, they were in 2 wars. They came home with PTSD. They raised the baby boomers, and those poor people had to deal with their parents. So, of course, kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. So they watched their parents drink the PTSD away and drug it away. So Generation X had to clean up the mess. Sorry. We're the oldest generation on the planet that has not started a war. I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to separate us. I want us in unity in this life. I don't want to say we're a step in the evolutionary chain. I didn't just say that. Generation X. I don't want to say we're evolved humans. I'm not going to say that either. I didn't say that. I don't want to say that we stood up against the baby boomers. I didn't say that either. So let's talk about this blood test. So now this guy's telling me to eat what my ancestors ate. And now this guy is telling me, on top of that, I should take one blood test per year. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. My ex-wife does MRIs. She reads MRIs on 25-year-old women and men who have cancer riddled throughout their whole entire body. It can happen to you. All right? So you want to keep small problems small and manageable. You want to know. You want to stop guessing. And that's what this live is about. You stop guessing about what you're eating, and now we're going to stop guessing about your health. So, if you text me, I will point you in the right direction. I do this on every one of my lives. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's not going to be any links. I'm not sending you any links. I'm going to simply point you in the right direction. YouTube, my phone number is right in the description. It's 813-330-6801. 813-330-6801. I'm getting hundreds of texts, and I will text you back. I'll text you back right after this live. And I'll point you in the right direction. So you take one remote blood test per year. They send it to your house, no matter where you live in the United States. Once they send it to your house, or if you live outside the country, you can get a remote blood test from your doctors over there. One blood test a year is just a responsible way to take care of your life. I think that's good advice. Doesn't matter how old you are. I think that's just, we live in 2026. We need to know, because if you know the right people, you can cure cancer, MS, all these things. You can head it off at the pass and die of old age. Got it? But you got to know. You just can't. Not knowing is not going to save your life. So you text me. I send you the information on a remote blood test. They send you the blood test information in the mail. What will happen at that point is I will give you the information to the nurse practitioner that I deal with. That nurse practitioner will call you a week later when the blood results come in, and the nurse practitioner will tell you, "Hey, you're a woman. Your estrogen level is supposed to be here, and it's not. It's here, and your testosterone level's here, and it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be here." So what's happened is, because of the food that you've been eating and life in general, your hormones are messed up, which explains why you just can't be happy. You can't do well at work. You can't think clear. You can't make decisive decisions. You don't love yourself. You are having problems in your love life, in your relationship, performing in bed, wanting to be in bed, all of these things, and you've gained weight and you can't lose it. And also I have heat flashes and I can't sleep. The hormone mess that are messed up with a woman are the worst thing. They make a woman so old so fast. And they tell these, and a lot of women have had hysterectomies, and it's okay, because I don't know, maybe you had pain and you had to do it. Who cares? It's none of my business. I'm just simply saying, a lot of these young kids, 35 years old, these young kids are being talked into having hysterectomies, and now their hormones are shot. Done, finished. Even if you haven't had a hysterectomy, the food will finish you. The food's designed to turn a man into a woman, which is very easy to do. Take away his testosterone, give him estrogen, and turn a woman into a man, which is very easy to do. Take away her estrogen and give her testosterone. That's what MSG and bioengineered food does. That's what happens when you eat food you're not designed to eat. Your body just shuts down. It's no good. No good. They know it. You can't just see something on TV like dragon fruit. You can't see dragon fruit at Whole Foods and say, oh, I'm going to try this. It's good. And put it in a blender because you saw Dr. Oz, who should be in prison, in my opinion, for selling things that he knew didn't work, just took the money. He could have helped billions of people, and he hasn't in his career. All right? All of them could have told you what I'm telling you now and have not. Because they go with the status quo, whatever making the money. Make them sick. Once they're sick, insurance only pays for treatments. It does not pay for cures. Okay? Make them sick. Put them on a treatment. That's the world we live in, unfortunately. Imagine waking up in that world. Got it? All right, so here we are. You text me, I point you in the right direction to the remote blood test. Once you get the remote blood test results, the nurse practitioner who does not take insurance, stand by, doesn't take insurance, tells you need this, that, and the third, or you don't need anything at all, but at least you know. You got it? Because a lot of times that ancestral diet over time will correct most things. But if you're so out of whack, it won't bring your estrogen level back. It won't bring your testosterone level back. It will not bring your levels back. Here's how you do that. So insurance companies do not pay and will not pay for a cure. Let me give you an example. You go to the hospital, there's no cures. The only cures they have there are antibiotics. Am I right or am I wrong? Isn't that interesting? Technology doubles every 7 days. Hospitals are getting bigger. Our lifespan's going down. And there is absolutely no cures in any hospital at all except for antibiotics. Isn't that interesting? Right. Cures don't make money. Patients do. All right. Well, here's a cure. It's called HCG. How do they get it? HCG is stolen from a woman when she has her baby in the hospital, right? This is why it's illegal to have a baby at home in some states, by the way. HCG is from the placenta of a woman and the afterbirth. And what that is a natural compound that turns your pituitary gland back on. It decalcifies it. And once your pituitary gland is decalcified, not only will your IQ level raise, I have a 163 IQ. That's right. It's documented. Google my name. All right. Enlightenment. If you want enlightenment, you can't get it with a calcified pituitary gland. With any calcified glands in the back of your head, right here. Any of those are calcified, any of them. You cannot be enlightened. You are blocked from the spirit realm. That's why you got all these toxins, just to keep you dumb. Okay? HCG decalcifies it and turns the pituitary gland back on. What does the pituitary gland do? It turns men's testosterone levels back on, and it turns women's ability to create estrogen and level out the levels naturally. This is stolen from a woman by the hospital when she has a child. And this is how it happens. Baby comes out. After birth gets cut, gets put in a plate. Woman says, hey, what's that? Where's it going? That's mine. That's part of my baby. That's part of my body, right? In a perfect world, but she never does. No one ever asks. It just gets carted out. And when it's carted out, let's just say you did ask, the hospital would say to you, oh yes, we're going to run tests on it and make sure that the baby is fine. and then we're going to, do research on it. And everybody in their politeness and in their vulnerability and in their willingness to just find goodness in humanity says, okay, go ahead, take it. Nothing can be further from the truth of what they just told you. The placenta and the afterbirth are then sold to a compound pharmacy, and that compound pharmacy makes fertility drugs. So the hospital gets paid that, not you. So the afterbirth of the baby, which is part of a woman's body and part of the baby's body, it's the connection between the two, right? Sacred. There's books written about it. Sacred books. Sacred. It holds the cures for most things, everything. And they know this. And they sell this to the compound factory, a compound pharmacy, and the compound pharmacy then sells it to fertility clinics. So when a man and a woman can't have a baby, they go to the fertility clinic and they say to the fertility clinic, give me 1 second, I gotta plug my phone in. They say to the fertility clinic, hey, we want to have a baby, and the fertility clinic says, no problem, 20 grand, and we'll make you have a baby, right? So how do they do? They take the drug costs nothing. If you go through my nurse practitioner, it's the cheapest drug you could get, right? If you go to the fertility clinic, it's 20 grand to have a baby, because they like when you're donating your loved one's organs after an accident. They take advantage of your vulnerability. You look at your wife, she wants to have a baby. At that moment, if you love her, you're spending every penny you got on your black Amex and whatever. You want a baby. You love her. She loves you. You want something that's yours. Fertility clinic knows this. So what they'll do, in fact, is they will shoot the man full of HCG. And when I say full of, I mean 0.40 on an insulin needle, which is less than half of a cc. Nothing. They go home, they have baby. It is a miracle drug that cuts fat off of women, balances a woman's hormones, okay? Balances a man's testosterone, no testosterone replacement therapy, no none of that, yada, 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 same old story. So what did they do? They made HCG legal, but now it's legal again because fertility clinics were going out of business left and right. There was lawsuits, and now all of a sudden, somehow, it's legal again. So the HCG, if you text me, you get the blood test. When you talk to the nurse practitioner, just say, hey, I want HCG. Because HCG, if you're a woman, is going to balance your hormones. It's the cure. It's also going to cut fat off of you. It's also going to make you just feel amazing, euphoric. It's literally, they talk about it in ancient books. They talk about the afterbirth of a baby. It's eaten in some cultures. People live, right? Got it? All right. So here's why I'm telling you this about HCG, and I'm not going to jump around. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you go to your primary care doctor because you're like everybody else in the world, and you pay for insurance every week, you work 80 hours, and the money's gone in 45 minutes. So everybody's pissed. All right? This is not you. This is everybody. You work 80 hours, how insane, and then the money's gone in 45 minutes. So you are bent on using your insurance because they rake you over the coals for it, to use it, they want you to, not use it, but you want to use it because you're going to get them. You're going to get your money's worth out of it. So what do? You go to your primary care doctor. Now, if you go to your primary care doctor instead of going to a hormone specialist, that's like going to a foot doctor when you have something in your eye. The reason why your primary care doctor gives you a referral to a specialist is because the primary care doctors know nothing. They are the entry point into this system. The new system, healthcare system, has them giving a referral, which goes up to the National Healthcare Network, which is got all of your medical records, which has everything about you. You go to that neurologist or you go to that eye doctor, and they know everything about you, every conversation, every note that any doctor has ever said anything about or to you. Okay? But if you go to a primary specialist and they say to you, because they want the money, a lot of them won't refer you to another doctor. So the new scam is they'll say, oh, we'll give you a blood test and we'll check your hormones. And if your hormones are off, this is your primary physician that you're using your insurance for. Okay? If your hormones are off, we'll take care of it. You trust them. You want to use the insurance because you pay into it. You don't want to waste your money. Get your blood test back in 2 weeks. They call you in and say, hey, sir, your testosterone level is 300. That's the national average. You're fine. Okay? And you say, well, I've been doing some research, and at my age, 53, my testosterone level is supposed to be 1,000. Then they lie, and they say, well, at LabQuest, 300 is 1,000 at this other place where you all their tests are different. That's a lie. It's just a lie. Okay? Free testosterone, total testosterone. If a man has to have 1,000, 800 to 1,000 testosterone level, okay, or he's open to heart attack, cancer, and immune deficiency issues. A woman, if her estrogen level is not on point, she's open to heart attack, balding, cancer, all kinds of immune issues, and she's going to get old quick. Same with a guy. Same with a guy. All right, so don't make the mistake of going to your primary care doctor. Go to a hormone specialist. My hormone specialist, I personally checked out. My superpower is not to believe anything anybody has ever said. That's my superpower, right? So I have personally not only dealt with these people, I have gone to the compound pharmacies to make sure that I'm not getting something that's mixed up in some Mexican bathtub, because whatever you buy online is fake. It is. You see all this testosterone being sold online and estrogen being sold online. It's all fake. It's all from other countries. All of it. So I didn't want to be bamboozled. That's how old I am. Bamboozled. So I went to the compound pharmacies, and they were like, sir, what are you doing here? Because you're not supposed to go to these pharmacies. These people ship direct to your house, right? And I'm like, well, I just want to make sure you washed your hands. In fact, I wanted to make sure that this place existed and it wasn't getting outsourced and my drugs weren't coming from China, which is why I deal with these specific nurse practitioners, because they deal with compound pharmacies locally in Florida, in Tampa, or surrounding area. Okay? So when you text me, there's my number, you're getting drugs. You're gonna get drugs, and on the actual package is going to be the address of the compound pharmacy that that made the compound, right? Where do you look for a hormone specialist? So just text me, and I'll point you in the right direction. I'll send you to. You want to go to one who's reputable. The hormone specialists I go to are nurse practitioners. They're licensed. All they do all day is look at hormones. So let me go back to it. If you went to your primary care doctor and you had a 300 testosterone as a man, instead of saying, you know what? You need testosterone replacement therapy, TRT. He's going to say, you're fine. Because remember, just because you have low T doesn't mean you can't perform in bed. He's going to say, you're fine. You're okay. But we're going to put you on blood thinners just to make sure. We see that you have, you're whatever, you're African American. You're like my wife. She's been taking blood pressure medication since she was in her 20s. Doesn't care the reason, just does whatever the doctor says. She's one of them. She works for a cancer hospital, so she's one of them. She's looking for a one pill fix. When in fact, if she just ate what she was designed to eat, she wouldn't need any of that. This is truth. This is just truth. Okay, so going back to it, you go through I'm just telling you, I'm giving you good advice. If you don't go through mine, you have to go through a reputable hormone specialist that deals in just hormones, because they're not going to, a regular primary care physician is not going, it's my ex-wife, is not going to, a regular primary care physician, that was random, is not going to give you accurate information about your hormones. So for example, if you have heat flashes at night, or you can't sleep at night, a regular primary care doctor is going to prescribe you Xanax so you can sleep at night, and prescribe you something for the heat flashes. They're going to treat the symptom and not fix the problem. Period. End of story. So even if you don't text me and you go with a local hormone specialist, please just go through a hormone specialist. Don't go to a foot doctor if you have a problem with your eye. Go to someone who will fix you. They don't take insurance, but I'm going to tell you, the cost of these things are cheaper than your copay, so you're not missing anything. You're just not. You're not losing out. You're not. Down the road, once you go to a hormone specialist, and that hormone specialist gives you and says to you, hey, the nurse practitioner gives you a prescription, writes you a prescription for whatever it is, then maybe you can go back to your insurance company and say, see, this doctor told me I need this, and then you might be able to get it covered, but not at first. They don't cover cures. So another example is if you go to your primary specialist and he says you need testosterone therapy, or you need therapy on your you need therapy on your estrogen level. What's going to happen is they're not going to suggest to you the cure. They're just going to suggest to you the therapy, the pellets that women get for the hormones, or they're going to suggest the shots for men. They're not going to suggest to you HCG to turn a man's testicles back on and a woman back on, so it levels the hormones out. They want repeat business. So I'm offering you, if you listen to me, and again, I don't want you to believe me, I want you to contemplate what I'm about to tell you. If you eat what I told you to eat, the ancestral diet, and how I told you to eat, if you only eat things that your ancestors ate 500 years ago, okay? If, in fact, you get one blood test a year and you straighten out your hormones, the reason why you could eat or drink or do whatever you like when you were young was because your hormones were in balance. That's it. If you straighten your hormones out, the reason why they call them rejuvenation clinics is because you've just rejuvenated your body. That's it. It's just that simple. That's it. It's not rocket science. You are simply not going to lose weight unless your hormones are in line. You are going to, listen, I'd rather die of old age at 120 and have a great quality of life all day long. If somebody said to me, it's going to cost you, and it's not, but I'm going to use this number, it's going to cost you 500 hours a month for you to live to 120 and have great quality of life and look the way you look, I would do it all day long. This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. If you don't do this, if you continue down the path of eating food you weren't designed to eat, if your hormones are out of whack, the side effect is death. And you will code out at 63, 65 years old, just like my father did. He died at 63 of a heart attack. Why? Went to a doctor, told him he was diabetic, shot him full of insulin. Ready for this? The food was orange juice in the morning, half a bagel and some oatmeal. That right there spikes your insulin level, right? So what the doctors do to diabetics is, instead of changing that diet, they say, okay, now take a shot of insulin to manage what you just ate. It's the biggest rope-a-dope ever. It should be illegal. They should all be in jail. Not some, all of them should be in jail. They killed my dad. So I'm not letting that happen to me, and I swore I wasn't going to let that happen to people if I had a voice, and I have a voice. I got 39 million views on Instagram a month. I'm building I want you guys to all follow me, please, over to YouTube. It's the same name, at Scott Lubick. Please follow me to YouTube. And then when Facebook comes back online, you'll see my content back on Facebook. But until then, my fire content is going to be live restriction for some audiences. Got it. My content is going to be for my longer content, and on the scams that are taking your money and your life are going to be on YouTube. That is my new platform. I just opened the account. I have, 1,500 followers. I have 500,000 followers on Instagram. I have 250,000 followers on Facebook, and I have 100,000 followers on TikTok. I had 6 million followers before my accounts were suspended a couple years ago. I'm sorry, I'm new to your story. What is this about? Yeah, you're a little late into the story. Here's what it's about. Ready? Okay, here, I'll tell you what. Here's my phone number. If you text me, I'll tell you what it's about. But the truth is, I just told you what to eat to live to be 120 years old. I told you how to cure diabetes without spending a penny. I told you how to save money on your grocery bill every month. I told you how evolved humans think. They don't believe anything. They bring it in, they contemplate it, ask themselves 2 questions. Why would I believe this? And is this good for me? If both of those questions are answered positively, they take action. If they're not, they disregard. Okay, got it? So we've covered a lot. I just told you how to straighten out your hormones, and I just told you how I lost 97 pounds in 63 days. True story. And how I look the way I look, a little rough in the face because I got beat up in Aikido class the other night. 813. My phone number is 813-330-6801. That's my phone number. 813-330-6801. 813-330-6801. Shoot me a text. I'll point you in the right direction. That's it. I'm not making any money. My gun's digging into my hip. I'm sorry. I've been carrying this same gun for 25 years. They don't make it anymore. It's actually not legal to carry unless you're grandfathered in, and I am. So it's a Glock 30 double stack. So it's a subcompact, which means it can fit in my pocket. But it carries 15 rounds of 45. So, like I said, I was shot 3 times. I'm not getting shot again. If I am getting shot, I'm not the only one getting shot. Um, so let's talk more about performance-wise. Now, I can only tell you about my experiences. So I work out, if you guys know me, a lot of people, I work out in Crunch Fitness and I work out in Channel Side. So Crunch Fitness and Channel Side, right? That's where I work out. And I'll do a full body workout and literally total beast mode, right? I'm 53, 54-inch chest, 8-pack of abs, 29-inch waist. I'm built really, really weird. 20-inch arms, and I have 31-inch thighs. So I'll work out twice a week, full body workouts. I'll work out a full body workout, take 4 days off, and on the 5th day, do it again. In the middle of that, I take 2 or 3 combat classes, all right, a week, which is not possible at 53 to do all of that if your hormones are off, if you're not taking body protection compounds, right? If your hormones, I could do it without taking body protection compounds, to be completely honest. I could. But if I was doing it like if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see I'm for hire, $1,350 an hour. That's what I charge for close quarters protection. Close quarters protection. That's what I charge. So I've been doing this for 25 years. So I'm just telling you the key points here. What you need to do is you need to have the mindset that no one's going to save you. Okay, you got it? RFK, I don't know the man. He might be the nicest man in the world, but he's one of them. He hasn't done anything in 40 years he's been in office. He's not doing anything for you now. This is all for likes and shares, and votes don't count, but for votes. This is exactly why they just told you that they're getting rid of property taxes in the state of Florida. That is not true. It can't happen. If you join my page, I explain why in the videos. Okay? It's for likes and shares and votes. So there's going to be 2 types of people in the world here shortly. People who make content and people who watch content. Okay? We now know as content creators that everything that we've watched in the news over the last 30 years was for likes, shares, and votes. It was a narrative set forth. And this is, I don't do politics, but I'm telling you now, they've made it crystal clear they're not going to come to your aid. They're not coming to help you. If they were going to help you, for example, RFK comes to Tampa. Tampa is, I don't know if you know this or not, Tampa Hospital is not run by medical professionals. No hospital is. Tampa Hospital is ran by the FDA, and it's ran by hospital administrators. What did they go to school for? They're not doctors. Hospital administrators are business people. They're the same people that run casinos, for example. So explain to me like I'm 4 years old, please, slowly, how RFK just went to Tampa General, right? He's been palling around with Dr. Oz, right? Now he shoots over to Tampa General. Tampa General makes the pledge. They promise not to feed you any more GMO or bioengineered food. Okay? Explain to me like I'm 4 years old how that's going to happen when there's a McDonald's in the lobby. Are they going to shut the McDonald's down? I doubt that. I doubt that. Are they going to close all of the McDonald's and all of the children's hospitals across the United States, including St. Jude's? I doubt that. Are they going to close down all of the McDonald's and all of the cancer hospitals and all of the children's hospitals and all of these places, knowing that that food causes cancer? I doubt that. So you have to simply know that your health is of no concern of theirs. When you walk into the grocery store, you have to have that mindset that you are literally walking into a place where you can pick up the wrong thing you're not designed to eat, or isn't food at all, by the way. Isn't food at all. Not food. Unfood. It's bioengineered. You're going to eat it. You're going to feed it to your children. It's directly aimed at your children. You pick up any candy. It says made in Mexico, made in Canada, bioengineered ingredients. That means the salt, the pepper, the onions, the cold cuts. All of these things are fake. What does fake food do when you eat it? It causes abnormal cells in the body, which they call cancer. So they're not coming to help you. No one has checked the food out to make sure it's safe. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So what you need to do is follow me over to YouTube, where I uncovered all of these truths. Follow me over to Instagram, where I covered all these truths. My longest and best content I've been forced now to put onto YouTube because Facebook did me like that. And I will help you on this journey of life. I have money. I don't need yours. I don't. I'm retired. I do what I want when I want to do it. If I die, it wasn't by my own hand, FYI. I get death threats all the time because of the content that I put out there. I got them when I told you about the cameras in the Airbnbs. I was the first one to crack that. How did I crack that? I'm a master home inspector and contractor. You can Google that. Right? Death threats because of the human trafficking I uncovered. Right? Now I'm in trouble because I uncovered the organ harvesting going on in the federal and state prisons. 20 and 30-year-old kids getting life sentences. The judges know. And I'm going to explain it like this, and then I'll end this. Ready? All government was created by criminals, was founded by criminals, and is ran by criminals. And somehow, in one generation or so, they became the good guys. Every government, not just ours, was taken by force, through genocide, through rape, through theft. All of the riches were looted, the women were raped, the men were killed, the kids were enslaved. This is truth. All government was founded by criminals and is still ran by criminals. So my page is about uncovering through satire. I have to do it like Saturday Night Live. I broke the rules. I did that video on the prison organ harvesting, and it wasn't satire. The algorithm saw it and flagged my account till December 7th. So when you see my pages and you're following me on YouTube, you're going to see one video that's complete BS, that I'm spraying a toilet bowl with CRC, telling you it gets rid of constipation. It makes everything come out smooth. And the next video, I'm telling you about a woman who a hospital made $30 million chopping her husband up because she donated his body. Or I'm telling you about the Uber drivers and the DoorDash drivers who drive around dead bodies in the same vehicles as third-party driver services as your food. You didn't know that. That video is on my page too. All right? This is disgusting. And somebody had to do it, so I did it. So I'm right there on the borderline of what's allowed on social media and what's not. So I have to spread it out now over these 3 platforms. So please support me on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. My longer content will be there without fail every day. Okay? I'll put new content on there every day. And I will come here live and I will talk to you more and more and more about these hormones and peptides, because only the strong are going to survive what's coming. Got it? Only the wise and only the strong. So that's it. Anything else? This was a great live. Anybody got any questions for me? Questions at all? Anything? Please. Any questions? Nothing? There's a lag in these things. I know that. So, and there's always a question or two before I end a live. While I'm waiting for that question to come in, speak your name again. My name is Scott Lubick. Lubick in Czechoslovakian means love. I went to seminary school for 5 years. My cousin's a priest. My cousins are priests and my cousins are nuns in the Trenton Diocese. My family is a long line of holy people. I went to seminary. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't called that way. I was called in a different way, which is why I do what I do, which is service. And YouTube, my phone number is 813-330-6801. It's also in the description of this live. So please text me and I'll point you in the right direction for the remote blood test, the ancestral diet. I'll show you guys where to buy meat with no hormones, no antibiotics in it, you know, just good stuff, man. I'm just passing it forward. So that's 39 million views a month just on Instagram. That's why people follow me, man. I guess that and my dashing good looks. I think it's one of them two. Probably the second one. All right, any other questions? I know you guys got questions about me and my ex-wife. Any other questions at all? HCG, can you please tell us more? Okay, yes I can, because that's a cure. HCG is a compound that is found and can only be made from the afterbirth and placenta of a human baby. It is sold by the hospital, given through theft by deception. Just when a woman has a hysterectomy, her woman stuff is stolen by the hospital through theft by deception. She's told it's whatever, it's going to research. Is it? No. If she's 35, it's going to a 55-year-old woman that wants to have children at a fertility clinic. That's the truth. A woman's placenta, same thing. A woman's placenta is literally sold to a compound pharmacy and they make fertility drugs out of it. That's what they make out of it. And those fertility drugs, if you want to go and have a baby, you're talking about 20 grand they charge for this drug at a fertility clinic. If you're talking about a rejuvenation clinic, I have a 11-month-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. Bless you and your family. May you have peace forever. The fertility clinics use this HCG compound. And they made it illegal because it's the cure. It decalcifies your pituitary gland, so you get enlightened immediately. You get smarter immediately. When you're on the ancestral diet, your memory comes back, your cloudy mind goes away, your depression goes away, your anxiety goes away. You don't need Zoloft anymore. You don't need Lexapro anymore. You're not bipolar. All of those things that you were sold by the doctor. All those things that you were sold by the doctor those things are now obsolete because of the ancestral diet. They just are. Listen, I've worked around real bipolar people. Unless they take their shot, you can't even speak to them people. It's like they're not somebody who just doesn't know how to act. They're not somebody who just freaks out and is triggered easy. No, a real bipolar person literally doesn't function unless they have their shot. Okay? That's not some woman who doesn't know how to act and walks around and says she's bipolar, or a guy who walks around and says he's bipolar because he's triggered by things he's never dealt with. Okay? So, back to HCG. It's sold by fertility clinics for thousands of dollars, but my nurse practitioners will give it to you to turn it decalcifies and turns your pituitary gland back on, and when it does, it turns a man's testicles back on, which allows you to heal instead of doing testosterone replacement therapy for the rest of your life. Your body starts making testosterone again. That's how it works. It works so well, they're going to try to sell you a different drug no matter where you go, because this drug is the hormone cure-all. And of course it is, because it came from the placenta of a woman. It was stolen from her. Theft by deception. The hospital says, yeah, we're going to go make sure your baby's okay. We're going to run some tests on this. No, they're not. It's going right to the fertility clinic after it goes to the compound factory. It's lies. Everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. So there's that. Anybody else have any kind of question that they want to ask me before I go? What time is it? 12:27? My devices are going to die. Anybody got any questions? At all? At all? Any questions? Any questions? At all? I'm here for you. All right, so discussing the ancestral diet and its connection to the HCG. Ask your health questions. Yeah, that's AI summary. Dude, what a nightmare. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And this is coming to a bank near you. Near and dear to you. A bank. I've been fighting with Meta AI for a week. It's been telling me to verify my identity because somebody had set up a fake account in my name, same name. I don't know this person. When they did, instead of AI suspending that account, it suspended my Facebook account that's 15 years old, and I pay $279 a month through Meta for Meta support. It suspended my account and cost me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? It's okay. I already have money. I don't do this for the money, right? I've been fighting with Meta. It won't even let you speak to a human being because it's saying that the decision's final. Then I finally speak to a human being, and the human being, you know what the human being says to me? You know what? I'm telling you. I guess I'm the only one that ever saw Terminator, right? The human says to me, yes, here at Meta, we cannot override AI. They designed it where it has the last say. I'm like, bruh, am I the only one that saw Terminator? Am I that old? That you people, you gave this AI the ability to have the last say and you can't override it? No. And the guy's telling me the whole time, sir, your content it's right there on the borderline, but AI's telling me that none of my content violated any of their terms and conditions. That's what AI is telling me. AI is telling me that I need to I reported the fake profile, and then once I reported that fake profile, AI is now saying you have to confirm your identity with a human. I call up the special line because I spend 300 hours a month with Meta. I call them. I speak to a human being. Human being says we cannot do identity confirmation over the phone, and you can't send in your documents. I'm like, well, AI told me I could. Oh, well, we can't, sir. We don't do that. Okay. Well, how do we fix it? And they said to me, well, you're dead right, and sometimes it makes mistakes. That's their answer. So coming to a bank near you, one day you're going to wake up, just like I've been saying for the past 5 years. Your account's going to be frozen because of some AI mistake. You're going to get on the phone. There's no human beings. And then once you're on the phone, you're going to go around and around with AI, and they're just going to take all your money. And that's going to be the story of you. That's going to be the story of you. It's very sad. Cost me thousands of dollars. 39 million views per month through Meta. That's what I get. So you tell me what that cost me. So, which is why I need all of my people from Instagram to follow me over to YouTube so I can continue to bring you the scams and the diets and the drugs you don't know about. And also, I was getting too big. No, I just told you the truth. See, I'll tell you what these platforms want. This is the truth. They want people of the other skin fighting on cruise ships. That's the content they want you to see. They want people of my skin talking about those people. They want division. They want to keep you stupid and separated. Okay? Got it? Genesis 3. The fake God says to Eve, you can eat off of any tree except for this tree of knowledge. If you eat off of this tree of knowledge, you shall surely die. The end of Genesis 3, the fake gods, the Elohim, the flesh gods, say, behold, man has become like one of us and knows the difference between good and evil. Now, all he has to do is press forth his hand and take from the tree of life, and he shall live forever. Okay, so nothing's changed. They don't want you, the fake gods, don't want you to have knowledge. They want to see people fighting on cruise ships, drunk fights. Now there's, all of these things. They don't want you to have knowledge. Nothing's changed. It's not about money. For the doctor with a $50,000 a month nut, it's about money. But he's in the same simulation as you are. So for the people who run the simulation, it's still all about, I'll use the word in Slavic, Slav. The word Slav means slave. They want you to be a Slav. Got it? So no, I can't tell you without getting suspended that there's organ harvesting. The math ain't mathin'. Millions of organs are being, surgeries are being done across the United States, and that needs to come from a live donor, and people are going missing in prisons, and I did the video on that, and when I did, the account got suspended. End of story. Because I'm right. If 150,000 people die every day worldwide, and there's millions and millions of organ transplants going on just in the United States, organs can only be harvested from live human beings, not dead human beings. Where are they getting the organs from? You're not allowed to ask them kind of questions. Not in videos, apparently. Somebody who does this for a living, saw that video and reported it and said, oh, he figured us out. And that was it. So, hey man, I got you before I got my bail. I'm just telling you, man, the math ain't mathin'. You can't do millions of organ transplants per year at Mayo Clinic alone when only 150,000 people a day die worldwide. Come on. I'm just saying. So, anyway, all right, well, that's it. Can everybody please follow me over to YouTube? Please. Here, it's at Scott Lubick. And if you need, listen, I want you to text me. I'll put you in my phone, even if you need somebody to talk to. I'm that guy. It's the Scam King on YouTube, at Scott Lubick, right? It's the Scam King on YouTube, but I'm at Scott Lubick. It's just the, just go to YouTube and punch in Scott Lubick. Or YouTube, you can, it's not Lubix, it's Lubick. So it's Scott Lubick. I don't know how that apostrophe just got in there, but you can't undo that. YouTube, my phone number is right there in the description. But listen, going back to it, and then I'll end the live. Guys, they're not the only people playing are you. No one else is playing with you. They're not playing. They're not playing. You're the only one playing around, beep-bopping around. They are going after your bodies because your body is worth, like the woman who there's a video on my page of a woman who was 30 years old. I talk about her all the time. She's a dear person. I love her to death. She's an awesome realtor, best in Florida. 30 years old, husband 30 years old, falls down the steps backwards, her husband does. They told her at the hospital he was brain dead. When she found him at the bottom of the stairs, the guy was snoring, but he was in a pool of blood. So she thought, oh, she cracked his head open. Let me get him to the hospital. She takes him to the hospital in Ohio. Hospital says he's got a severed brain stem right here. What do? They put him in a helicopter, which you cannot do if someone has brain trauma. That is rule number one. Everybody knows it. If you have brain trauma, you cannot put anybody up in the air. It causes inflammation and irreversible damage. So they put him up in the air, fly him to the main hospital in Ohio, gets to the main hospital in Ohio. Whatever. These are 30-year-old kids now. He's 32, she's 30. They say to her, he's suffered a life-ending, he's brain dead, which there is no such thing as brain dead. He's brain dead. And I'll tell you what we'll do. If you donate his organs, we will waive your copay. Now, listen how evil these people are. It's not these people, it's the system. There's a 1984 law in place that says no one can make money off of organ transfer, donations, any of that. Remember what I told you. All government was created by criminals or founded by criminals for criminals. All contracts are written by attorneys for attorneys. Okay? All business in the United States is owned by the United States. Okay? Through mandate and protocol. The 1984 law has a loophole in it that says that if the hospital waives the copay, they have then purchased the body, not the organs, the whole body for the price of the copay, which allows them then to profit off of the sale of the organs. A heart is $10 million alone. She donated both his eyes, his corneas, his fingers, his fingernails, his toes. His whole body was chopped apart while he was still alive. 32-year-old guy. Now this poor woman has to live with the fact, having now thought about this for the past, this was 12 years ago. She's 42. She has to now think for the rest of her life, because she did research after it happened. What happened is they play on your vulnerability. You're so vulnerable in that situation, just like you're vulnerable at the doctor's office. You walk in the doctor's office, doctor tells you have cancer, boom, you're vulnerable. Doctor tells you this, you're vulnerable. You're going to do whatever that doctor says because he's going to take full advantage of your vulnerability. You put your money in the bank, you're vulnerable. You don't put your guard up, you're vulnerable. You don't pull your gun, you're vulnerable. Okay? This is real life stuff here. They took advantage of her vulnerability at this point, knowing that if they purchased the body, they bypassed the law, theft by deception. They made $30 million off of this man's body, right? Who cares? We're talking about a man's life here. Can't put a price on that, right? $30 million off this guy's body. So not only the problem now is this woman has to live second guessing her choice, and they took full advantage of her vulnerability because they had this pasty, nasty advocate at the hospital, she told me. And this advocate kept hugging her and stayed with her 24 hours a day, a donor advocate. You're doing the right thing. You're saving lives. She's a 30-year-old kid. She doesn't know nothing. She doesn't know nothing. You know nothing at 30. You think you do, but you don't. You don't know nothing. Listen, you spend the first 25 years of your life effing it up, the second 25 years of your life fixing that, and then life starts at 50. This is just the way it is. Got it? So this kid doesn't know nothing, and she's got this pasty, nasty advocate you're doing the right thing, taking full advantage of her vulnerability, bro. So sad, so sad. That video is on my page. So I actually came up with a solution, which I wrote some letters, and I haven't heard back, of course, for this whole issue. I think that if someone gets into an accident, the surviving spouse and family should get the money made from the insurance company paying for the recipient. So, for example, if you need a new heart, your insurance company is going to pay for the surgery and the heart. They're going to pack the price of the heart into the surgery. It's going to be a package. And you're going to get a new heart, and your insurance company is going to pay $10 million, for example, for your new heart. That $10 million minus the cost of whatever they had to pay the doctors should have went to the woman. So if they made $30 million at this hospital, don't you think that the woman should have gotten the money minus whatever the surgery costs? You don't expect nobody to work for free, whatever. But come on. You know what she got? Nothing. She got they took it all. Oh, she got to bury him. I'm sure that was 20, 30, 40, 50,000. She got to bury nothing because they chopped. You can't get organs unless the body is still alive. So if you've ever watched it, and I have, organ donating, the human being that they're taking the organs out of. So for example, they're not going to take the heart out first. They're going to take the eyes, the fingers. They're going to literally chop up this live body, and then they're going to then do the kidneys, the bladder, whatever. Heart goes last. That is horrific in itself, putting money aside. And it's theft by deception. Everybody needs to go to jail or worse. And now this, and I feel most of all bad for this woman who now, for the rest of her life, is now going to second guess herself and her decision because she was a 30-year-old kid and she had some professional advocate who was playing on her emotions and taking advantage of her vulnerabilities, coerced her into donating this body. Okay? So that's the type of stuff you're going to find on my page. Important stuff. If you're a donor, you better redo your driver's license. You better. If you go to prison, you're 30 years old, you're hit. I'm telling you right now, you get a life bid, you're 30 years old, no family, you're hit. Them people just disappear. Then the math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. And that's why I carry a gun. I get death threats all the time because of my content. I do. It's true. It's totally true. I am a trained combat guy. I am. I train still to protect myself because I know it's coming. Eventually they're gonna try me. They better not miss. That's all I gotta say about that. Happened to my 16-year-old brother, hit and run, drunk driver. Yeah. 16-year-old kid, hit and run. Whew. All them organs worth millions. And your parents went in there thinking they were doing the right thing. The hospital knows you're in a vulnerable position and they rely on your virtue. You think it's a virtue to save lives. It is. But in fact, it's theft by deception. It would only be virtuous if the hospital did it and didn't make any profit. If the hospital's so righteous, you're making $30 million. You think that's right? I think that money should have went to your family. For example, when your brother died, I think your parents should have got the money for his organs. Come on. What are we talking about here? What's your thoughts on Seema, can a holistic expression help that? Okay, so I am of the school of doctor last resort. I get sick, I don't go to the doctors. Dude, I have to be deathly ill, which I don't get because of the way I live my life. Holistic, always the best way to go. But the roots of a holistic specialist, here's the difference. And I'll give you a perfect example. It's a great question. Thanks for asking it. You go to a holistic doctor, first words out of their mouth are, what are you eating? Well, if you're Hawaiian, right, odds are you're going to eat whatever fruit is in Hawaii and fish. That is your diet, right? If you're inland in Hawaii, you might eat a cow, but honestly, you're probably going to be eating the fruit, whatever island you're on, that's what your body's designed to eat because your people ate that 500 years ago and you're genetically designed to eat that. So a holistic doctor, first words out of their mouth, what are you eating? That's a real diagnosis, a doctor who's looking for the cure, not a treatment. You go to a regular doctor, the regular doctor is never going to ask you what you eat. Never. Just like a cop that pulls you over. Okay, perfect example. You go out to dinner, you eat sushi, you have some soy sauce, right? You don't drink any alcohol at all. You get pulled over on the way home for swerving, whatever. You're tired, you just get pulled over, DUI check. They give you a breathalyzer because you ate soy sauce. You blow dirty in the breathalyzer, you get a DUI. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know if you just get out of prison, your PO officer comes over and gives you a breathalyzer and gives you a whole list of food you're not allowed to eat. You're not allowed to eat vanilla extract, soy sauce, just a list, because if you do, it'll make the breathalyzer blow dirty. So the cop doesn't care. He wants the collar, it's called. He wants to arrest you because it makes him look good. He never asks you what you ate that night before he gives you the breathalyzer. No cop in the history of copping has ever asked you what you ate prior to a DUI test. Okay? Has not, doesn't. But isn't it interesting if you're on parole and the parole officer comes over to your house and they give you a breathalyzer, they ask you, hey, you haven't had soy sauce, have you? Have you had soy sauce? Because you're gonna violate. Explain to me, like I'm 4 years old, how that's okay. You got your parole officer asking you what you ate, but when a police officer pulls you over, gives you the same exact breathalyzer, never asks you what you ate. And the reason for that is because they just want you in the system and money. Same reason why a regular doctor will never, ever ask you what you eat. Never. They will never ask you what you eat. You didn't know that. I'm glad I taught somebody something today. So that's it, guys. Text me. All right, text me. And my number's one more time, because I know everybody, they miss it and they just got here. Here's how it's going to go. I'm going to tell you to go I'm going to ask you. So if you'd be so kind to do yourself a favor, so you die at 120 and not code out at 65 years old. Code out means, die. So ancestral diet, give it a look. Then text me. I point you in the right direction for the remote blood test. They send you the blood test. They contact you, send you the blood test information. You take the blood work, no big deal. A week later, you never go into the office. It's all remote. They have options with zero money down. It's not free, but it's a lot less than your copay if you were to try to use your insurance. It is. It's a fact. They contact you a week later after the blood results come in, and they tell you need this, that, and the third. And they offer, and then whatever you do, make sure you get HCG, because HCG is going to make it so you only have to take these hormone therapy for so long. You don't want to take it forever. You don't want to take it forever. You want to be cured. So ask them about HCG. I'm telling you. And peptides. HCG and peptides. It's the future of medicine. All right. And then YouTube, 813-330-6801, 813-330-6801. That was scary as shit. How do we protect ourselves from losing all money in our accounts? Where do you put your money? I have a safe. I have a lot of precious metal and a safe. I keep very little in the banks, because I already know what's coming. Like I said, my job, if you Google my name, you'll see I'm a cybersecurity expert. You'll also see I'm a physical security expert. You'll also see I'm a general contractor, or was a master home inspector. I just gave back my real estate license because I'm retiring. I still do security. That's all I want to do, is security moving forward. I think there's going to be a huge call for that. I think this is going to be, when this all plays out and everything plays out in the United States, it's going to be more like South Africa, where you're going to have private security firms. People are going to hire them to protect them. It's you can't listen to the billionaires. They're billionaires because that's what they care about, is money. You can't listen to a guy like Elon. Elon says AI is going to usher in the age of Aquarius, okay? And everybody's going to be wearing white togas and Jesus slippers and a little gold thing around their head, playing harps, and also writing down their thoughts. And it's going to be like the new Renaissance, and everybody's going to get a stipend check. I'm so sorry to tell you, that's not the case. History tells us it's going to be the Hunger Games. That's what history tells us. So security is where my head's at. Where can I find HGH or HCG? Just text me. HGH, human growth hormone, or HCG. So HGH is triggered in the body by peptides. So you don't need, no one takes HGH anymore. What they do is they take a peptide that makes your body create HGH, which is how my skin became paper thin. You can't tell right here, but I got, if you follow me, you know I got veins running all up and down my arms, through my abs. It's the peptides. The goal is to turn your body back on, not introduce a foreign substance into your body. Turn your body back on so you live to be 120 years old and you're fit and you please your loved one in bed, and or you're past the time in bed, and you know things are good. You know, this is quality of life, right? So that's the goal. You want to turn your body back on. You don't want to be a customer. You want to just do the ancestral diet, do the blood test real quick, get the drugs you need to get your hormones straightened out, take HCG, right? I'm never coming off HCG. I'm gonna take it forever because I know it's what the movie Charlize Theron, I can't say her last name, Hugh Jackman, all of them, you know, Ryan Reynolds, all of them, all of these people take HCG and peptides. All of them. Aquaman, Jason, whatever his name is, all of them. Not some of them, all of them take this stuff. Discuss ancestral diets, blood tests, yeah. AI summary, yeah. Anyway, so that's it. Anybody have any other questions? There's still hundreds of people watching me, but my devices are gonna die. Any other questions at all? I'm on 4% on TikTok. So TikTok, I'm gonna leave you first. All right, my phone number's there. Please text me, and please follow me over to YouTube. It's my new channel. It's the same name, Scam King or Scott Lubick, as on my profile here that you're watching TikTok. Okay, or Instagram, 39 million views a month over there. I stopped using TikTok for certain reasons, but now I'm back. So I love you. My device is gonna die, so I gotta go. Thank you for all the hearts. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to end this somehow. And now, wow. Anyway, TikTok. I hate to tell people, bro, I can't stand TikTok. It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with nothing. I'll tell you a story about TikTok. I first got into social media. I did a video on how trading in your T-Mobile phone is a scam. It got 30 million views on TikTok, and TikTok paid me like ridiculous money. It was something like, I forget, it was like 12 grand on this one video. Then TikTok decided to stop paying content creators for views. So I didn't think it was fair that they get my content that gets millions and millions and millions of views, and they make money placing ads underneath the video, and I get nothing. So I stopped using it at 100,000 followers and 1,100,000 likes. I completely stopped using it, TikTok. It had nothing, all of that about it was owned by China was a lie. That was a lie. The servers for it are right in Texas, they're right in California, and they're ran by Cisco Systems. I'm a cybersecurity expert. Cisco has the best cybersecurity teams in the world, and they're all Americans. All of that was a lie. All of it was a lie because it was uncensored and they were telling you the truth and they didn't want you this information getting out, right? So that's what happened with me and TikTok. I stopped using it just because I knew the moment the government got their hands on it, it would have been wrecked. And I was right. It is wrecked. And then they were like, okay, well, we can't pay you for views, but now we want you to endorse some 16-year-old little girl's music. And I'm like, dude, I'm 53. Not only am I not a liar, or we're all liars, but I'm not going to tell people I listen to this girl's music at 53 and do a video about it. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm not doing that. So their model is so stupid. It's like, make this song go viral. Yeah, I'm going to share the 2026 version of Cyndi Lauper to my followers. I'm just not a fake person like that, dude. So I opted out, stopped using them. And then I went over to, I didn't pay too much attention to, at all to YouTube. I really didn't. I should have, but I didn't because it's a new account. And so I don't know, I got like 1,500 followers over there, right? But I'm putting my longer versions of my videos on there. So now that's taken off, which I'm really happy about. But I should have really did them all at the same time. I didn't. And then I did some videos on Instagram. My Instagram account is only like, I had 6 million viewers back a few years back. And then when Tate's accounts got suspended, so did mine. And so he gets a lot of his information from me, just so you guys know. I know the man. And so I told him not to do it. He did it anyway. Anyway, my accounts suffered just as his did. He got wiped off the platforms. But I wasn't banned, so I just did new accounts. And when I did, I went from 37 followers to 550,000, 500 and whatever thousand followers I got now on Instagram within 6 months, and 39 million views per month. And then Facebook took off, which was my personal account, which I didn't even want to happen. But I wanted to keep Facebook just my personal, for my kids, and I got 6 kids, but Facebook took off, and then I started posting the content on Facebook as well. And then when I posted that organ harvesting thing from the jail the other day, man, they literally penalized my account, took all of the money. They took all of the money. And not only did they take all the money, they suspended me till December 7th. I'm like, let me get this straight. I'm allowed to post on Facebook. I'm allowed to go live on Facebook. I'm allowed to share stories on Facebook, but I'm not allowed to get paid from Facebook. Sound familiar? It sounds exactly like what happened with TikTok. So I'm assuming shortly there's going to be no more people getting paid for how many views they get on content. I think that's the trend, because that week I had gotten so I get 39 million views a month on Instagram, and that week I had gotten 15 million views on Facebook, which is very hard to do. And I think when that video came out, some AI just looked at it and just flagged. I think what happened was, really, when that fake profile came out with my same name on it. And I pay Facebook so that doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. They violated their own terms and agreement. I told them, I pay $275 a month so no one can use my name. It's copyrighted, right? They allowed another account to be made with the same exact name as me. So AI saw that. Instead of suspending that phony account, they suspended my account, 15-year-old account, already verified through Meta. And then a human looked at it, saw that video, or somebody reported that video, and a human looked at that report. This all happened at the same time, and they suspended me till December. So, you know what? That's fine. I don't need the money. So, yeah, AI has ruined. You're right. You're right about. It's going through a growth phase. So, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but everybody's suing everybody, And AI is going through this growth phase where it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And it's making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. It's costing us money. So when I call Meta and say, hey, listen, this is costing me, I don't know, 30 grand. $30,000 this is costing me, this mistake AI made, right? I mean, it's not the money. I don't do it for the money. I need money like everybody else, but I don't do it for the money. Then they acted like, well, sir, we're sorry. We just can't override AI. The way they designed it here at Meta is it has the last say. I'm like, okay, well, it's telling me one thing. It's telling me to verify my identification because of this fake account. And it's telling you another thing. So how do we fix that? And that's where we left it. That was a week ago. They can't fix it. And as far as I know it's either a permanent ban or it'll be lifted in December 7th. So it doesn't matter. That's why I need all of Instagram to follow me over to my new YouTube account, because if you think I went hard on Instagram, I took it easy. The scams I'm going to uncover on Facebook, on YouTube, make the ones I did over here on Instagram look like child's play. I'm going to uncover some things that you're going to be like, oh my God, things you've never heard before, right? Is affecting things up, and then we can fix it. AI, blockchain can't correct it. Everything's going to be blockchain. Everything. I think it's not going to be called cryptocurrency. It's going to be a currency they can turn off, turn on, turn off. You're causing problems, turn your money off. I'm not repeating that like a parrot. It's just history repeats itself, constantly repeats itself. All right. So like I said, Elon is telling you guys we're all getting a stipend check for $5,000 a month, and we're all going to be wearing Jesus slippers, and we're all going to be wearing white togas, and we're all going to be playing harps and just lying next to pools like back in the Renaissance. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be like the Hunger Games. There's going to be no jobs. There's going to be no money. And we're going to have to go back to, you have to look at history. What happened to Russia when Russia broke up, right? You had very wealthy parts of Russia, very, very wealthy parts of Russia. Hi, just switched from Instagram to find you here on YouTube. There's a huge time delay on the Instagram. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Seriously. Thank you. Yeah, so what I was saying is that, you guys got to follow me over to YouTube if you want the real content. You got a taste of my content, but I held back on it. I really did. I have things that literally would put me in prison if I forever, and under the jail, and then throw the key. I would if I wasn't 53, I would be donating organs without my consent. I would be thrown under the jail if I put on here the real stuff that I have in my repertoire. And when I'm able, I'm going to. When there comes a point in time where I'm able, where I don't have to introduce myself when I go to places, I am going to speak out about these things. You know, and I have, so it just is what it is. So that's it. All right. It was a long one. All the phones are going to die. I love you to death. Instagram, my phone number one last time. Text me. Do yourself a favor. Get that blood test. Please. Please get that blood test. Please go on that. Please go on that. Please go on that ancestral diet. Please use just logic. And please don't trust what they say. Please. Because it's not, it's all a lie. There's my phone number. Really? I'm sorry. That's not it. There it is. There, the last one's my phone number. All right, you guys got that? YouTube, 813-330-6801, 813-330-6801. If you want to lose, I lost 97 pounds. I cured my type 2 diabetes. I got rid of my MS. I'm 53. Whatever. I'm in really, really good shape. So if you want some of this, text me. I'll point you in the right direction.